Jurassic fans, it's the one and only Optopotamus coming with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new Netflix Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Camp Adventure Set. For the package, really nice new background sort of thing going on there. We've started getting trailers for the Camp Cretaceous series on Netflix, and it looks pretty cool. And I like that they're coming out with a line of figures for them. Mostly they are just repaints, but honestly, it doesn't bother me because you can have a whole bunch of different color Stegosauruses or Baryonyx, whatever, and it works. For the package, though, you got this really nice open window that fully showcases all of the figures, including Bumpy and Darius. Got a cool image of a Carnotaurus chasing the characters right there. Top section here says Camp Adventure Set. Side here has an image of the Stegosaurus and Baryonyx, but the real look for them, which is really very cool looking. Other side here has the character models. Of course, you got little Bumpy right there. Come around to the back of the package, and you can see that the Stegosaurus has his tail strike action, whereas the Baryonyx has his chomping action. You got the Ankylosaurus Bumpy, and of course, Darius. Now, at least here in North America, I believe that the Camp Cretaceous figures are exclusively available at Target stores. I could be wrong. If I am, please leave a comment down there, and by all means, correct me. But for the packaging on this, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get them out here and see how cool they actually are. Alright guys, so here we have the adventure set from Camp Cretaceous opened up and out of its packaging. And yeah, they're basically just repainted dinos. But as I've said before, you could literally do countless repaints of these. And for me, it would all still work because there's always slight variations in an animal's appearance. So while we've got like 4 or 5 different Baryonyx figures, and again, like 4 or 5 different Stegosauruses, because they're painted differently, they look different. Granted, they're gonna be Stegosauruses and Baryonyx. I mean, it's just the way it's gonna be. But it works. Now, I never really got any of the Baryonyx figures because I wasn't a big of a fan. But here, for example, to kind of illustrate that, let me get Darius in. I'm out of the way. I mean, here is one of the Stegosauruses that I have. Well, actually, I think I only have one Stegosaurus. But you can see that they're the same mold. They have the same action feature with the whipping tail. All of that is the same, but it looks like kind of like a different animal, or I mean, I shouldn't say a different animal, but not an exact sort of thing. You guys know what I'm saying. I mean, this could easily be like mommy and daddy. They're the same species, obviously, but are gonna have differences in terms of their look. And I love it. I think that's so great. Now, getting this out of the way because we're not focusing on it, taking a look first at what is new in this set. Here we have Darius and Bumpy. Now, first looking at Darius, from what I can tell, this is a brand new sculpt as well, in addition to Bumpy here, but this looks really good. Now, obviously, they don't carry on with that same theme that we got with other human figures about looking like a real life person. This is a cartoon. Some people have likened it to looking like a Wii cartoon, although I think that this looks a lot cooler. You can see you got that very cartoonish sort of head, really big eyes, absolutely fantastic looking sculpt on it. I think it's really nicely done. He's got his jacket, which is a softer piece that comes around. I love how they got his little hoodie on there as well. The arms are done in a yellow plastic to kind of match with it, but you can see that underneath there, he's kind of wearing like a white shirt. You got a little necklace right there, which kind of looks like a dinosaur tooth, which is a real nice touch. You got the stripes going down here. He's wearing blue jeans and, of course, sneakers. Overall, really very, very nice. I don't necessarily think it will fit if you want to display him with your other humans from like the various Jurassic franchises like Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, because he obviously looks very cartoony. So I don't know if you would want to put this with that display, or can you pop his head off? Oh, you can pop his head off. You can put another person's head on there if you really wanted to, I guess. That would probably be weird, but you know, you could do it. But for a small figure, I really do appreciate the detail that they put in here. The head is on a ball joint, as you can see, so you get a nice sort of tilt going on there. Looks left, right. You got pin hinge joints for the shoulders moving in and out, and of course all the way around. Hinge and a rotation at the elbow. Nothing at the wrist. The waist does have a rotation though, which is nice. Hips move forward and back. It does get a little bit limited because of this, but you can still kind of mitigate that. He does bend at the knee, also rotates at the knee. You also do have peg holes in case you may need anything, but overall, I like him. I think he's really cool. And yeah, I mean, like I said, people have complained about them looking like Wii, or I think they're called Miis in the Wii universe, but I still think it's pretty cool. And then we come across Bumpy. Now, we don't really know much about Darius or Bumpy, but Bumpy is a little baby Ankylosaurus that really is pretty damn adorable. You can see a really nice green color for the main body. His shell section here on the back is a darker green. I kind of wish that they put a little bit of this little gray bit on the different little bumps throughout them. I think that the character model actually has that, but that would have been nice to see that little off green color used on there. But something this small, I can't nitpick that much. Really great detail with the head. You got some nice paint detail on there. Eyes look really good. The only part on here that is articulated is his tail. You can swivel that, or you can rotate that around. It can also move, that's on the pin hinge joint, so you can move it side to side and you can rotate it. Wish that you could have rotated the head, but I get why you couldn't. Overall, again, really nice detail on here. Great sculpt with the little bumps across the whole thing. I mean, he is a pretty bumpy little dude. So these two pieces are new, and I think that they really did turn out great, and it's a nice addition to something like this. Now, for the Baryonyx, unfortunately, like I said, I never really got into the other ones. There were several, but apparently we're going to be getting 3 in this new Camp Cretaceous line. It was unveiled at SDCC, I want to say. And what's interesting is they all had names. There was Grim, Chaos, and this one is, or was named, Limbo. Whether or not they actually go with those as names of the characters, I have no idea. But when you would look at the display that Mattel put up, they showed all the different characters and figures that they're going to be releasing in this line. And the Baryonyxes had names, which was interesting. Paint detail on him, though, looks really very nice. A lot of times, I don't get a lot of them because the colors seem a little bit too over the top. I mean, I'm not a big fan of it. I like him looking a little bit more natural, which is stupid to say. I realize that because we don't really know the skin color or anything of dinosaurs. So it's definitely possible that bright red is splashed on them. I don't know. I just think that the green and the brown work a little bit more naturally looking, and I like that. Now, I don't know if other ones are going to have this, or if they already had them, but underneath here, you can see you have a little section. Now, normally there'd be like a little screw right here where you could probably change the battery out or have the sound gimmick. This doesn't have anything like that, but it's definitely possible that when you would push the button, in addition to get the chomping action, that you'd get a sound action as well. But color detail is really very spot on. I like how they have the different colors of brown splattered throughout that. That looks really good. I think that there's a nice blend going to the brown for his head. It could be a little bit better, but I do like it from a distance. It looks pretty solid. Gorgeous yellow eyes, the ugly yellowish teeth. You got the tongue, you got the little tendon thing there. I also like how the tongue here actually kind of folds up. I mean, it would be a little bit better if that front section, because that just kind of looks like a tooth right there, but you can kind of see that the tongue curves up right there. That would have been cool to see that it got the paint on the other side. But I always have a problem when they're always stuck like this. I do wish that they put a little bit more articulation in it where you can pose it how you want. At least with this, you can kind of push it a little bit, and maybe it was doing it earlier. There, yeah, well, something like that. I mean, it's not terrible, but I do wish I could keep it closed. I mean, something like that. I don't know. Well, there we go. All right. I mean, I just hit the button really hard and it did it. So I do like that. I do wish you could articulate the mouth a little bit more. The rest of his articulation, you got the pin hinge joints here for the shoulders, moves in and out, forward and back, really nice. You got the hips that do move in and out slightly. You do have the forward and back, but then you can also feel like right here is where it's meant to kind of pose, so you can get it to stand really nicely, but you can always angle. I mean, the tail kind of gets in the way. Maybe do a little bit more of a hunched over look, like he's going after Bumpy. I mean, you can do something like that. Oh, Oh, all right, I'm playing too much. I'm sorry. So, poor Darius getting eaten up. But overall, again, really very, very nice on how they did this Baryonyx. The Stegosaurus, one of my favorite dinosaurs of all time. I think this looks great as well. Now, I showed you the previous one. They are the same sculpt. Paint detail is definitely different though on it. I like the color on this one as well. I think this one is probably a little bit better. I like the gray and then the darkish gray color. You also, when you look at his different plates up here, it kind of looks like there's a lighter gray throughout it, which does look really nice. That might just be the light hitting it, but I don't know. I think that looks really very cool. You got some slight paint for his eyes, a little bit of greenish yellow there, and then that darker gray element comes down to cover his head. Again, same great sculpt as the previous one. You look at his tail, it can hinge forward and back, but it is tied in to the gimmick. When you push that plate down, he does get the whipping action going. I like the paint detail that they put on the spikes down here. I also love what they did here in the bottom section. I think that that's a really nice kind of fade. It's more, again, natural looking, where it's kind of like a pinkish color. I think that looks really very good and works very nicely. When you looked at, I mean, you kind of had something like that as well, with a more natural looking transition to the underbelly color. Some of them are really weird, but this looks really good. And then again, really nice gradient looking sort of paint blending in with the rest of them. Look really very nice. His articulation, you do have a hinge up and down, and then it does rotate, so you can't really get him looking left and right, unfortunately. I wish that they put in more of like a ball joint. If they just straight up put a ball joint there as opposed to the pin hinge one, I wish they would have done that. That would have been a better way of, I think, making it. And then you can also see that his head curves around, so he's kind of always going to be looking in that direction. That's, you know, yeah, and neither here nor there. It still looks good. The front legs here move forward and back. They also move in and out a little bit. They are on those pin hinge joints, as a lot of them are in the front leg area. And then when you take a look at the back, he does have the in and out motion right there, which is good. And then the forward and back. Again, you can feel where it locks in to kind of keep him in that sort of, get all this stuff out of the way, where he's gonna naturally stand good, but you can't. And then because you can see that it's curved, I mean, there's not really anything, there's not a lot of real poses that you can do with them, but I like the fact that they put the articulation in there. That's definitely nice. I mean, you can't really pose them any other way other than having them stand there. So, I mean, it works. It doesn't bother me really all that much. I like the options. But overall, really a very fun set. As I said, Camp Cretaceous figures, at least as far as I know, are exclusively available right now at Target stores. I don't know if they're going to be coming out anywhere else. So you're probably going to have to just keep your eyes open. There were tons of these when I went to 2 different Targets, so they should be readily available. And at a price point of $40, I feel like it's fairly decent. I do believe that the 2 larger dinos run about $20, and then you get the extra little figures, or maybe 15, maybe like 15 and 20 or something like that. So 35 for the 2 dinos, and then you add those in there. I think that the value is good. It's a great way to, I don't want to say army build, but expand your collection of dinosaurs and get a couple extra new little guys as well. So if you're a Jurassic Park fan, maybe you'll be a Camp Cretaceous fan as well. And in that case, this is a set that I would absolutely recommend picking up. So all that being said, as I mentioned, Target is where you're going to want to go, and they are out now. So if you're looking for them, good luck and happy hunting. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Before you go, I would really appreciate if you would do one very small thing for me. And that's simply just to hit that thumbs up button if you already haven't. That one very small gesture really does mean a lot and goes a long way towards helping me out. Also, I want to send a huge shout out to all of my patrons who, through their continued support, now more than ever, really do help to make reviews like this possible. And reviews like this help to make reviews that you might want more possible. You know, like Transformers. And if you'd like information on how you can help support my channel by becoming a patron, feel free to check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/optibotimus. A contribution of as little as $1 a month really can help out a lot. And as always, remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.